Hi everyone, as you can tell from the title, this video is a bit different than normal, not book related whatsoever, but I had a request from a subscriber who's actually looking to be an Auxiliar de Conversación. That's what I'm doing here, teaching English in Spain. So I thought I would just go ahead and do an overall top 5 tips video. Now this is not going to be explaining what the program is. I might talk about that more, so if you guys want to see a living abroad experience video, and this isn't going to be advice on the application process. There are tons of blogs on that, and hopefully this time of year when you're watching this you'd have already applied, because I don't know if that time has passed, but it's coming up on it. So this video is specifically for people who are going to go abroad and be teaching English as an Auxiliar de Conversación or some sort of similar program. These are going to be kind of basic tips, but my main ones that at least I would have liked to have known before I came here. Another quick thing I wanted to add is that I am going to be heading off to Scotland this weekend for 5 days. I am incredibly excited. So I probably won't be posting a video obviously for a week and a half or so, but shameless Instagram plug, make sure to go ahead and follow me there because I'm sure I will be posting a ton. So let's go ahead and get into the advice, and I'm going to range these from least to most important. So for those of you who are currently Auxiliares de Conversación, this is probably going to seem painfully obvious, but I have actually met a lot of people in the program, or a lot of people who are applying, say friends of mine from back home, who do not realize there's a Facebook group with about, I want to say 2,000 of us on it. No matter what question, problem, concern you may have, not only can you ask it there, and I'm sure someone would be willing to give advice, but it's probably already been asked. Just type into Facebook, Auxiliares de Conversación, and then the year that you'll be going abroad, and you can find the right group for you. Once you find out what region you're placed in, say it's Galicia or Asturias or Madrid, there's also specific groups for those areas. There's also just a plethora of information online. Just type in tips Auxiliares de Conversación and you will get so many wonderful blogs about either preparing to go abroad or, like I said, the application process. There's so much wonderful information online. I know a lot of people like this romantic, idealized version of I'm gonna go abroad, just not prepare, and I'll just see where the wind takes me. I think that's incredibly stupid, and I think you need to come prepared, knowing tips for finding apartments, things like that, just being knowledgeable before you get here. So just understand there's tons of information online, so go ahead and check it out. I know you're probably looking at me right now and saying, really? And obviously this isn't going to apply for people who are already fluent, but I think we're told so much throughout high school or college when we're in Spanish classes that obviously the most important thing is just speaking and immersing yourself in the language, and that's how you're really going to learn it. I've been here a little over 4 months, and I was kind of going off of that mindset, and I was realizing I wasn't really picking up on a ton of Spanish. Even though I was talking with Spaniards all the time, I felt like my Spanish had kind of hit a plateau because I hadn't been studying online. And I know we're not in school, we don't want to be studying grammar or anything like that. And believe me, I don't do it a ton now. But I think relying solely on interacting with other people is only going to get you so far. Unless you're a child and your brain's still just incredibly plastic. In my opinion, it's only going to get you so far, and you need a good balance of both. I can't tell you how much my Spanish has improved within just a few weeks of, say, taking 10 minutes a day to watch. I really like Senor Jordan on YouTube. He does some really good basic Spanish grammar videos that are really fun. This is probably your one opportunity in your life when you're going to be able to study some Spanish grammar and then immediately be able to practice it right away. And I think the fusion of those two is what really is going to improve your language so much faster. I cannot emphasize this enough. I think a lot of people, unfortunately, choose to do this program because they hear, oh, I'm only going to be working 12 hours a week. I'm going to have all this free time to just jet set off and fly around Europe and do whatever I please. And I just cannot emphasize how very, very wrong that is. Yes, you might only be working 12 hours a week. That's if you're outside of Madrid. But a lot more of your time is going to be taken up in the school than you imagine. That most of the schools we're placed in are not in the big cities. They're out in the country in smaller towns, and generally people don't want to live in a town with 200 people. They want to be able to do things easily without a car. So most people that I know, actually, I would say on average, have nearly a 1-hour commute one way. And even if you're only working 12 hours, a week, those hours aren't consecutive, so you might have like a 3-hour break in the middle of the day. I know I'm personally away and at my school probably 30 hours a week. And also keep in mind, you're going to be setting up your bank account on your own, finding your apartment on your own in a foreign country. This isn't study abroad. You need to come prepared with the mindset that you're an adult. This is a job. You are going to have a fair amount of free time, obviously, and minimal responsibilities, hopefully, but do not come here and do not do this program if you're expecting to be on vacation. This is kind of related to number 3, but I know a lot of people kind of want to use this as an opportunity to just travel nonstop. And I've heard from some people who were completing the program or doing it for a second year that they said, I traveled so much, I didn't get to know or really feel connected to the city that I was living in. You really want to try and become an integrated, active member of your community and not just a foreigner who's just there teaching during the weekday and then you're traveling throughout the rest of Spain or Europe on the weekend. Join intercambio groups, join groups where you're going to make friends with other Spanish people, especially if you're not living in a giant city. I'm living in a city of about 100,000 people. Sometimes you'll be at the bar and someone will just come up and start talking to you. They're excited to hear that you speak English. It's very easy to make friends and become an active member of the community. So even if you think your small city or your small town is boring, it's only going to be boring if you're an outsider in it and if you're not going out at night and trying to meet people and make friends. I'm sure those of you who are watching this who are members of the Facebook group can understand why I'm saying this. It sometimes feels as if half the posts are people who are dealing with horrible school coordinators, just horrible teachers, horrible programs where they're being taken advantage of. All the coordinators generally at orientation, at that like few hour meeting, they're told that our jobs, we're not teachers, we're not trained, we're teaching assistants. We're not supposed to be correcting papers, we're not supposed to be left alone for the entire class period, planning lessons and teaching to the kids on our own. We're teaching assistants. And if you get the impression the teachers at your school either aren't aware of that or that they're kind of taking advantage of you in that way, you need to be upfront right away, because I cannot tell you how many posts I have seen in the Facebook group of someone saying, so I've kind of been working 20 extra hours preparing presentations and classes, and I've been left alone with the students most of the time and grading papers. And they're saying this when it's 2 months into the program, and not that it's their fault, but they haven't said anything, so the teachers, even if they didn't knowingly know they were taking advantage of them, think that this is now the norm, and it's not. This is why there are rules and regulations. You know, I've heard from people saying that their teachers were asking them to pay like 20 euros a day for transportation, which is insane. Obviously, it's not your fault if you're put in a very shitty situation, but go to the ministry, talk with people, figure out what you can do to make it better. So those are the main 5 pieces of advice that I would give. If you guys happen to be watching this and you're a member of the program and you want to put some advice down below, then I'm sure some people would find it very helpful. I actually need to head out and book a few things for Scotland still, so I'm gonna go ahead and head out, but I'll see you guys soon. Bye.